Alright, here we go. I'm gonna pop out the chat here. In the spirit of true randomness, Neotoy story brings you yet another exploration stream within a 7-day window. This is highly abnormal. I've decided that I'm never again going to try to predict my streaming schedule. It's very contingent upon far too many variables for me to ever pin down. So just like the random sim selection, it's going to be just as random when I end up streaming or not streaming. There was a sim yesterday that looked really interesting. Had 20 people on it. Can't remember the name though. I want to check that one out. I'm sure I'll eventually come across it again. I gotta admit, this tactic that is used frequently on the world map where sim creators post a like a mega prim or some kind of big image on, look at this one, it's like a pin-up. It really catches your eye. This looks kind of cool. This looks like it's subdivided. Maybe those are either valleys or mountains. It's a good way to pay tier, break it up. It's just like having roommates on a grander scale. I'm in the university section already. That was fast. Joker games. Gonna avoid all of the gaming sims. This looks kind of unique. Porto. Let's see if I can go here. Is that some kind of like butterfly type thing? Delicatessen, tell me a story. Some artwork over there. Wait, don't tell me this is that one sim that I've already been to. I've totally been here. Oh, that's it. Show's over forever. Just like I've been saying all these years, like once I've visited a sim that I've already visited randomly, it's time to end the stream forever. Just kidding. God, look at all the green dots on that one. Kinkberry. Not a surprise there that, of course, sexual perversity always one of the major draws of any sim Second Life. That and gambling. Without sex and gambling, I mean, really, where would virtual worlds be today? I gotta dig deep. Clearly I'm being far too patterned. What is this? Orinoco? Yeah, as it turns out, if I visit a sim that I've previously visited, all I do is reopen the world map and click away. Oh, look at that. Classic Neo. Resing in the water, even though it's like underneath the floor. Like he really had to work to get down there, you know what I mean? Alright, let's find something I can click onto, hopefully. Well, I might as well just... Milk Motion main store. So it's a shop sim basically. That's a nice little asset. Plywood crate. Motion, I wonder if it's like motion capture. Those are all pretty nice little industrial assets. And meanwhile, My avatar's down there in the water, glug, glug, glug. He's like drowning, and I'm just like observing the store. Apparel, huh? Looks like you won some kind of award for extremely slutty hooker heels. Oh, Mange, what's going on, boy? Meme, come here, little boy. Aww. My cat was freaking out for some reason. You know how cats are? Sometimes they just get all moody for no good reason. I'm just not feeling the vibe here. I mean, these clothes are all nice quality and stuff, but you know, if you've been following my channel at all, you know I'm not too excited about avatar centric stuff. It's just kind of not that very exciting to me. Also, like, I both like and dislike the way this store is arranged. And here we go, more gacha stuff. It's just, like I was saying yesterday, there's more to it than just what it is. It really is like a virus. It's kind of like self-propagating. Whoops. I was just about to see something interesting and lost control of the camera. That's kind of a cool ice castle, huh? I wonder if this is like modeled after the ice castle in Frozen. It seems like vaguely familiar, but bunch of skybox settings. That's kind of cool, I guess. They got demos. I kind of want to go to the ice castle. That's pretty neat too, like a sand covered house under construction, or ruin, I guess, more like a ruin. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can go to the ice castle here. I guess they're all up in outer space, huh? Rising demo may take some time, be patient. Okay. It's not the demo that I picked. I want the ice castle. It says that it's resing the demo, but then I'm given this interface where I have to like do it myself, apparently. Just think of how many people like wouldn't have been able to figure that out. That's pretty cool though. I mean, I was a little skeptical. I'm always skeptical of any kind of like scene reser, that it's actually gonna like work as advertised, but that one actually kind of actually worked. The textures are pretty good. Like, it definitely has a feeling of ice, although more of like a crystal, kind of like a deep prehistoric sort of glacier type ice, as opposed to more conventional ice that we're all familiar with. Yeah, I don't know, it kind of looks like opalescent glass too, in a way, and not ice. It's pretty simple architecture, not a very complicated build, but not inelegant, so it's got that going for it. Not much to it though. Should I try some of these other demos? I'm kind of like mildly intrigued. At least this interface works really well. Let's check out this waterfall one. It's pretty cool. It's not bad. It's kind of similar to the ice castle in the sense that like it's nice, but the scale is kind of small. What's this? I can't even tell what this is. Like an underground grotto dungeon type thing. Oh, there's not as many as I thought, actually. I'll try one more. I want to see this one right here, actually. Huh. The tile floor kind of clashes with the ancient stone columns and walls, but I like this one the most out of all three so far as a conceptual build. I keep expecting that tile to like change or something to something more appropriate, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. Alright, so I didn't even... Yeah, that's the sim. Milk Motion. Just a shop sim. Unfortunately, because it's a shop sim, I'm not like super excited about exploring it further, so I'm just gonna go to the map and pick another sim. And I really want to find that one that I was looking at yesterday that was so suspicious. Federation space. I wonder if this has something to do with Star Trek. Starbase 82. Deployment area for the USS Solstice. Huh. Well, I guess this is like the third Star Trek sim that I've been to. I gotta say, like, I'm just a little disappointed. So far, every Star Trek sim that I've visited has just been like a little bit subpar in terms of quality. That's pretty cool. It looks like the Voyager, but it's not. It's the Solstice. I wonder if that must be a real ship in the canon. I would think it would be weird if it wasn't, unless they made it up for their own experience. It's pretty cool though. Let me get rid of this red line thing. Honestly, I feel like this area is a little bit better than the last Star Trek sim that I was on, which seemed older, like it was probably made in the like mid-aughts or late-aughts. It's the gift shop, totally Star Trek appropriate. What are these? Material supply command. Like data pads or something, I don't know. This is like where you go before you get on the holodeck, you know? But like, you wouldn't have a gift shop in on a real Star Trek station because everything is replicated on demand. It would just be kind of weird and redundant. I mean, even with Deep Space Nine, it was like the only reason that they actually had like real bartering and trade and stuff was just to make the show more interesting. And to have like characters like Quark and his his bizarre like Den of Iniquity. If I could just fly up to the second story. This place reminds me very much of like a 90s suburban mall. Like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. It's literally like they copied the layout of one of those like American malls and turned it into a Star Trek station. Interesting. And if you feel the need, you can just walk straight out into space. Oh cool, there's the actual ship. That's pretty awesome. Is that an actual walkway? I wonder if there's a way to get over there. That's pretty rad. And the second question, is there actually stuff in the ship? It's just a prop. That's too bad, but I mean, still pretty cool, I guess, that they put it out there. There must be like an observation deck where you can observe. No idea what this is. Seems kind of sparsely populated. Like, I've made this observation many times in these videos, but like a lot of times you find when people create big builds like this, often the scale is a problem, and they just end up creating like a very large space that is not really filled out very well. In this case, it's like the first floor is pretty well filled out. But the second floor is a lot more sparsely populated with props and so forth. I think I'm just heading back to the entrance. Here's a teleporter. Oh yeah, that's where I came in. Docking bay 5. Oh, here we go. Here's the observation deck. That's cool. I don't know, it's a little like the night sky is a little too surreal and pixelated. I think if they'd gone with a black sky with fewer stars, it probably would have made that ship pop a bit more, but also these doors don't go anywhere, so yeah, anyway, this is kind of a cool sim, but it needs a little TLC, I think. Oh, there's the SL URL for that. Back to the world map. Sensual souls, huh? Fairy Tale Crystal Canyon, those sound familiar. I think I've been to at least one of those. It's interesting to see how many sims are subdivided into quadrants. And that makes a lot of sense. That's probably like the perfect price point for the average Second Life user. A quarter sim. Auroral. Let's see if we can go here. Security orb. Damn. Nothing I can do about that. I'm just gonna get booted out of here in a second. Yeah, it looked kind of nice, but whatever. It's this liquid monkey, like a weird phonetic spelling of monkey, perhaps. Alright, wind chimes check. This looks like a rental sim to me. Let's see what it says up here. Jewel of the universe, a place of refuge or safety. And that's it. Seijin. This looks pretty cool so far. I think it really says something for reality that so often Sims fall into this format of a so-called refuge, or, you know, a little idyllic paradise, a safe space. It's like apple trees over there, sort of. Both like and unlike an apple tree. I was like giant salmon berries. That's what those look like to me. Wow, there's a lot to look at on this sim. Seems lately that this has been my my fortune on exploration. It's like the first few sims are kind of like mediocre, and then I finally hit a good one. This corn. It's kind of cool, but it looks, the stalks look more like bamboo. It's a new bamboo corn hybrid. Man, boy, would that be a big seller on the industrial ag. A little aqua culture going on there. Aquaponics. That's a cool horse. That's a nice paint job. Those are cool sunflowers. Pig pen. I like how they have it double fenced, you know? Gotta keep those pigs safe. Man, those are pretty cute, actually. A little smile on his mouth. Looks like multi-mesh, but yeah, they're multi-mesh. Pretty high quality for old assets. Oh, hey, look, a hurricane lantern. I'm gonna have to rate this one pretty low. That's like a 2.5 out of 10. Oh, that horse finally rezzed. Those look kind of like indigenous American markings. So I like how the nostrils have a ring around them. That's kind of cool. What the heck? Oh, the Sims got everything. Go right from the barnyard to the disco. Haha. It's like a movie theater or what? Whoa. That dragon-like thing up there was cool. Can I, can't actually like track it though. There we go. Interesting. This is like a texture following a topological construct. I think I'm gonna go up to the mansion next. Guess it's a vampire castle. This looks like a castle resor. A haunted bridge. Landscaping could use a little work here. My avatar is like breaking his legs just trying to navigate up these stairs. Nice peacock. Attention to detail. Wow. Texture is just a little bit sketchy in places. Jan, peacock. Yeah, I think I've seen this one before actually. Oh, there's one with the tail spread. That's cool. Gothic mansions, so many of these in Second Life. That's a very dramatic effect. Jesus, that music box is deafening. These dragons are cool. Dragon dog. She's Slydrochrome. Is this the music box? I can't tell where it's coming from. If I could, I'd mute it. A lot of interesting knickknacks in here. Those are cool. It's curious. It's like a planetary orbit clock. This is my favorite one by far. It's awesome. Daisies and butterflies. Oh, this is a music box. I wonder if that's where the sound's coming from. I literally have to like mute the sounds. I'm sorry, but that was just like what happened? Yeah, that music box was just a little too much for me. That's a nice piece of work. That looks kind of Apple Fallish though. Oh, Dust Bunny. I wonder if Apple Fall and Dust Bunny have had any collaborations. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Their styles are so similar. In fact, maybe they were like part of the same collective at one point, and then they split up to form their own companies. Here's that music box. Let's see if I can mute it. Let me give this a try. I haven't really like... Okay, mute. Or block, maybe. Yeah! Haha! That's crazy. I've never actually gotten that to work before. That was like the first time that's ever worked for me in the history of using Second Life. Usually you like block the thing that's making the noise and it just keeps playing anyway. That's a cool lamp. And they really need to get their groundskeeper to come in here with a can of WD-40 and give those hinges a squirt. Alright, I'm gonna go up to the second floor. How much do you want to bet? There's not a lot up there. Nice job on the marble on these stairs. It's a pretty convincing texture. Ah, I was wrong. So far, at least. I like how the doors stay open for an extra long period of time. That's like one of my main complaints of doors in Second Life. The scripts are usually like, the timing is so tight. Like you click on a door and almost before you even have a chance to walk through, they close on you. That's novel. It's like a tiny toilet just for your dog to drink out of. Alright, let's do the test. Alright, the lid works. Now does the seat work? Nope. It's a half-rate toilet. Wow, I really like this table. That's a lot of opulent ornamentation there. Oh, looks like the topology, it either hasn't rezzed yet or the topology is just super sloppy. I thought that was a dog for a minute, but it's a adorable little cat with an oversized head. Right, let's see who made this table. Isabeau Regula. The lighting in here sure is nice. It's very realistic. I'm guessing that's like pre-baked, but oh, that's like super adorable. Although it's got some kind of a animation glitch happening. It's like a true Matrix cat. Omen. Sleepy Bengal. Oh, that would be uncomfortable to sleep on. What the heck is that? A two-headed mouse? Or a two-headed hamster? What is that thing? It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's an animesh, so I can't lock onto it. Never seen one of those before. Wow, it's like this person has a whole series of these things. Beautifully modeled and textured, like super optimized. That's pretty cool. Now why can't breedables look like this? Like with that level of quality. I'm sure that would be a real pain to script, but like realistically, I mean, I think that's the main problem with breedables, is they're just so script intensive that you basically have to be some kind of super talented programmer to be able to code the breedables. And then of course, if you're really good at coding, you're most likely not as good at the artistry. And it's kind of like a one-person production. That's cool and creepy at the same time. Whoops. Carnival mask, grown artful. Oh, it really, once the texture's fully rezzed, it looked quite a bit cooler than it at first. I don't know why the bed's in a cage. Haha. Is it like a werewolf bed or something? Wow, that's a nice piece of work. Really beautiful job on the normal maps. I like these chairs. Who made those? Nomad. I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more to see in this house, but I kind of want to explore more around the rest of the sim. There's just a fireplace floating outside the balcony. If only you could do that in real life. Just move all your furniture outside and have it float in the air whenever things got too crowded inside. Wow, an amazing job on the roof. This is actually a beautiful building. Like, really great job on the architecture. Alright, what else? I've been to the warehouse, I've been to the farm. Looks like there's a few like farmhouses on the sim though. I didn't go back here. This little picnic spot. It's like Jack from that Tim Burton movie. Yes, they have a tiny little house right in front of the big house. It's probably a reser box. That would actually be really... Yeah, it's a reser. That's super cool. Like, the reser box is a tiny little house. It's really clever. Looks like I'm just in time for tea and cake, as usual. Neotoy story is never cool, but he's always on time. That's his one superpower. The house is basically empty. It's just a prop house. That's a shame. I thought for sure there'd be something in at least one of these rooms. I should come up with a term for that behavior. Honestly, it's like it's a condition where your vision or your emotional desires are too big for your logistical capacity to populate the virtual representations of those longings and needs. Look at this Himalayan salt lamp. Crazy. Yeah, needs a little work. Ah, cool, it's got a working light switch. Oh, with a nice fade in and fade out effect. That's pretty cool. What's with this, like, floating prisms type thing? bunch of random assets just kind of scattered around. This big moose. The black moose. Oh, there we go. It's UV mount a little funky. This place is a real hodgepodge. Not that I'm complaining. I like sims like this because they let you see like an incredibly diverse selection of assets. That's just a random eagle. What is this? This is weird. It's like a... It's beautiful actually, these glow bugs flying around a tarot deck or something. I don't know, maybe it's a card game. I know it looks like tarot. A tarot table. It's a kind of interesting place to put that. Where the hell am I on the sim anyway? Okay, so that just kind of like dead ends right there. Another little hangout cabin. I will say so far I'm pleased that I haven't run into like a sex dungeon, you know, so that's definitely a point in the favor of the sim. Oh wow, that's cool. It's a beautiful lantern too. Where he made this. Balaclava Ghost Servant Uria Eulenberg. Ferret. Does that say on there? The season story. Huh. Does the moon love you? Can you prove that? Can you back it up? Alright. Not much else to see there. Let's see. Oh yeah, I haven't looked at this house on the hill yet. Man, there's a lot of stuff crammed into this sim. Give them props for that at least. Even if they didn't like fill out their houses, they pack the sim. It's like a Death Row Designs reser. I wouldn't be surprised if the house was what was resed. That's really cool too. I guess that's just a standard practice with resers for buildings now, is for them to be little buildings. So like one person did it first on the marketplace, and then everybody that's a cool prop. It's like a scale that, like a totally functionless device, but it's kind of a neat concept. Second Life is renowned for those though. It's like 2/3 of the stuff on the marketplace. Wow, this is a cool little like motif here. Kazniar. Like this dresser with 1,000,000 drawers. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like halfway filled. Maybe even less than halfway. Like, I don't know. Honestly, if it was real life, I think this would be how I would tend to furnish a room, because I like a lot of free space to move around personally. The idea of like really crowded, cramped rooms just stuffed with knickknacks is not my idea of a pleasant living situation. So even though aesthetically it looks kind of weird, I think honestly it's not a bad way to actually arrange a room. It's kind of cool. Some kind of motorized pump or so. It's an air compressor, I guess. What the hell is this? Like a giant bucket full of money. Wow, really nice bake job on these chairs. Death Row Designs. I remember when Death Row Designs first started, they weren't like nearly as diverse as they are now. Everything was just kind of like grunge, and so I really like this teepee structure. But now Death Row has really branched out in like all different types of stuff. I'm not looking into this little roadhouse here because I've seen it a million times. It's like a very common prefab. No idea why, but this house looks like it's fairly populated. I'm gonna sit in the reindeer chair. Or can I? There we go. Alright. They got a little bit of a flooding problem. Maybe they should use that pump outside to drain the water out of their house. Oh, that's a cool Ferris wheel. It looks like it's physical too. Oh no, those are just independently tracked objects. That's a neat composition though. This kind of scripting was fairly sophisticated, but they did a really good job. Oh whoa, look at all those invisible cubes they had to put in the scene for the rotation or center points, or rotation origin points. Design Voom. It's a nice piece of work. Lots of high quality assets in general. Like hundreds of thousands of lindens worth of assets off the marketplace. That's cool. Ooh, I like this snail terrarium. What the heck are those little spot things that look kind of like viruses or pollen grains or something? Touch, open, Aki 69. Doesn't really say what it is. Oh, I get it. All these things are linked together, so that's not accurate. It was just whatever the root object is. Oh, that's cool. A beautiful Gothic castle inside of a dome. Oh, that's really detailed too. Oh whoa, the ballroom is articulated inside. I guess because the windows are transparent. You can't even see through the windows. What's the point of articulating the ballroom if you can't see inside? It's still awesome. Just kind of mysterious. It's a pretty cute little cat. I have to admit the cat density on this sim is definitely appealing to me. So this is like a Christmas themed house basically. Whoa, what is this? A sea monkey? That's like a classic sea monkey from the 70s. Actually, it's some kind of mermaid, but it looks just like those sea monkeys. Like they used to have in comic books. Wow, look at the texture job on this fish. That is amazing. That's one of the advantages of working with these really small objects, is you can really solidly texture them. Wow, that was just one room. got snow falling in the living room. That's pretty cool. Alright, I'll be back in like a minute or two. Just give me a second. Alright, back. So, yeah, I'm streaming today basically because I couldn't get myself to do anything else. I had so many plans for the weekend. I have 3-day weekends, rocking the European work week, so I have Mondays off, which is really nice, but I don't know, there's definitely pros and cons to having 3-day weekends every week. I mean, motivation is always a challenge, no matter what you're into. That's cute. I think, unless you're like one of those people who's just miraculously born. Oh wow, that's a sophisticated scripting. Sorry, Jasper. I'm a cat person. Yeah, some people are just naturally born with like almost unlimited energy and unlimited passion and motivation, and they can just bang out whatever they want. I mean, it really helps if you find your passion, you know, in life. It is through my sorrow that I find my spirit. Words of wisdom. Could have used that this morning. Wow, that's a beautiful skull. Holy shit. Is this really like... That looks modeled. It doesn't look like photogrammy, but it's a really impressive modeling job. Applefall. I wish there was a second story to this house. There's a lot of cool props in there. I feel like that was just the right size of a house. There's no exit. There's no way to get out. There's got to be a door on this thing somewhere. No, no doors. It's like the Hotel California. You can get inside, but you can never leave. Yeah, I had so many plans for this weekend. I've got all these projects I'm working on. I'm working on this catalytic carbon capture aeolian thing. It's only partway finished. I ran into like a little technical hiccup, and that kind of like stopped me in my tracks, and I was just like, ugh, I just don't want to have to exert the energy to like reach the next phase of this project. You know how that is. And I'm working on this outline incidentally for the Neotoy Continuum. I'm trying to start a novel. I mean, I started a little bit of a novel, but I've always had this problem with the Neotoy Continuum that I love doing the world design, the world building. Like, that's something that is never a problem for me. Like, I can do that all day, every day. But what I really want to do is write a story that takes place within the continuum. And that's turning out to be a real challenge, because even though I feel like I have enough of the world building done to where I can start generating actual story, like content. I hate to use that word content because it's so like industrial and impersonal, but that's kind of how I view it. It's like once you create the world, then the story is just like almost procedurally generated from that design. Go upstairs first. I don't usually do this, but it's probably mostly empty up there anyway. Just trying to wrap my head around that. Had so much diversity. I like these glow in the dark, like bead curtain. That's cool. They really captured that like quality of that particular plastic that glows in the dark. What the heck? Yeah, so like minimal furnishing as predicted. Yeah, so the sort of like novel I'm starting, I don't know, it's not really a novel, maybe it's a novella, but it's the title is The Gray Age, and it basically covers a specific arc in the story in between the White Age and the Black Age. And that's just about all I have so far, aside from the world building. I mean, I want to structure it like a quest, so it's definitely like that's the structure. I wouldn't say it's like a classical RPG kind of quest, but it's definitely influenced by that. So it's like several characters, each one is on their own, they have their own history from the White Age, because they're like millions of years old basically, and each of their stories kind of like follows its own trajectory. Some of the characters are really like eccentric, so their stories are quite a bit different, and then there's like the new generation of characters, and they're less eccentric. So it's just like the old school and new school, kind of the clash of the generations in a way, I guess. With one character, he's like very special to the continuum, and they have like a incredibly unique story compared to the other characters. But somehow they're all gonna like end up colliding, like whether their objectives are oppositional in some way or their objectives align. Like that's gonna be, I guess, the main tension of the story. And then hopefully like it'll all come together at some point, and then it'll culminate as being like the sort of the introduction to the next arc, the Black Age. But I don't know if I'll be able to write the other two ages, because honestly the Gray Age has always been the most interesting one to me, the one where it's like so the White Age is like the Molten Age, when everything is tumultuous and chaotic and like congealing in a way. It's a very creative time. And then the gray age is sort of like everything's truly solidifying, and the chaos and the tumultuousness have kind of receded a little, maybe not a lot, but a little. And there's, like I was saying, the confluence of the mature characters. That's cool. It's like a frog spirit thing. That's intriguing. It's weird. Anthropomorphic frog. Who made this? Nixie Girl Metalworks. But I have actually written and finished a novel before, so I have faith that it's like within my capabilities. It's just it's hard to get started, I guess, now that it's like I've spent all these years, like almost 2 decades on the world building, and now I'm like actually starting to write the story, and like part of me doesn't really want to start, I guess, because it's like, in a way, once it starts, then inevitably it ends, right? Because there's a beginning, there's an end, and I never really wanted it to end, so I don't know, that's just one more like thing that I have to figure out. That's a cool like animated peacock. A white peacock. Wow, that's a major multi-mesh there. That's the same peacock as the other. I know it looks so much better as an animesh. And there's a lot to explore on this end. Yeah, so subconsciously I've been like struggling, like fighting with myself to start. Like every time I get started, I'm just like, there's this overwhelming like pressure trying to stop me from writing anything, because I don't want to like solidify things, you know, because once I get started, I kind of just, my writing process is like I get started and then it just flows and I go for as long as I can. Wow, that's a really cool like cyber heron. It's awesome, actually. I want one of these. Paper lantern crane. I'm gonna have to look up this Metalworks Gravi Garzo. Oh, whoa. It hadn't rezzed fully. That's cool. It's got like little lights inside. That's awesome. Oh, this lotus is pretty incredible too. Same person. Definitely gonna look that person up on the marketplace. Oh, like shrine sushi TV room. This sim has a lot of personality despite being really random. Cool mermaid. That's beautiful. A lot of polys though. Ah, I didn't even see this house before. Whoa, what? Why did I fall through the water like it was air? That was very trippy. Oh wow, there's a whole like underwater kingdom down here. That's cool. It's like why am I blanking on this guy's name? Poseidon. There we go. Poseidon. It's like Poseidon's domain down here. Yeah, I've never been very good at goodbyes, I guess. That's what it comes down to. But I'm very good at thinking way long term ahead into the future, so I'm afraid that's kind of shooting me in the foot in this case. That's cool. I like how they designed it so that you fall down there, like when you're heading over to this house. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's cool. It seems like a mostly empty villa, kind of. Just a prop structure. Wow, look at those bricks are like articulated somehow. I mean, it could have been a normal map, but it looked kind of like there was some articulation. I saw seams for sure. So yeah, my novel outline, that's another big project. The carbon capture thing is a project. 3D modeling, like I've been prototyping this closure mechanism to replace threads. Like this is like honestly one of the most ambitious projects that I've ever attempted, but it's related to another project that I started many years ago, probably 10 years ago. That was just an interface design for irrigation. Alright, I think I basically tapped this sim dry. There's nothing left. Liquid Monkey. Cool sim. Definitely recommend checking that one out. There's a lot to see there. At an hour. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep going. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I keep going? Should I keep exploring? Ethereal Shores. I'm gonna wait and see if the thumbnail reses before I click on this. Sounds kind of familiar. It's never gonna rise. I'm just gonna see if I can go there. Nope, no access. Yeah, so like I've been very frustrated with threads for a really long time as like a closure mechanism, like whether it's a water bottle or a jar, you know. Threads are so ubiquitous, and like they're used everywhere too, not just for closures, but like for joining pipes together. It's one of the most primal physical mechanical structures. Like, I don't know which came first, threads or gears. It's like a hard to answer question. But what I do know is that there are certain characteristics of threads that make them very like non-appropriate for certain applications, like bottle openings, for example, because like our lips are smooth and convex, and threads are ribbed, bumpy, and at an angle. So like when you're drinking out of a bottle or a jar or whatever, and your mouth is touching those threads, it doesn't really form a great seal, and it's like unideal. It doesn't feel too great either. So I keep thinking like there's so many different ways to form a watertight, airtight seal that don't involve threads. And wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to... This looks interesting. How many people are on here? 28? Wow. Oh, New Orleans, right. I think I've been to that sim a long time ago. Dirty Dreams. Wow, they don't have a lot of traffic for such a provocative title. Forest of Nadria. I wonder if I've been here. It sounds vaguely familiar. Oh, security warning. Yeah, that's a good sign. Wow, there's a lot of landscaping going on here. Looks pretty decent quality too. You just really have to be impressed by Alchemy's render performance. Like the fact that I'm getting such a good frame rate with things still like, at least the geometry about like 90% blocked in. Alright, I'm just gonna copy and paste this into the chat right away so I don't forget later on. You know, I've been like reading up on inventors and innovators and designers and like how they've had their major breakthrough ideas, and it's really interesting. Like there's a pretty substantial body of evidence, or at least narrative, sort of anecdotal information about where people get their brilliant ideas from, and a lot of times it seems to come from the subconscious on some level, like in dreams, or like, I wouldn't say visions exactly. Oh, those are beautiful tulips. I think those are tulips. Wow, some of them are open, or maybe those are daffodils, I'm not sure. Tulips. Lilith Heart. It's a nice little tulip field. But anyway, I personally, like, regardless of the anecdotal information, I personally believe that a lot of times our consciousness just isn't up to the challenge of creating the breakthrough kind of energy that's required for certain transcendental ideas to pass into the physical realm, you know. In which case the subconscious has to like do the heavy lifting, has to crunch the numbers and make those calculations and stuff that go on behind the scenes. That's a nice sauna. That's cool. Little backyard sauna. I wouldn't mind having one of those in real life. Great, now I don't know where the gate is. There it is. I mean, on one hand it's kind of insulting. I don't want to downplay the role of consciousness, or to say that like people didn't have great ideas that changed the world, or whatever cliche you want to pop in there, that they weren't completely responsible for, that wasn't the product of their subconscious, because I feel like that happens too, and there are people out there who really are that like transcendental, and that they're able to just produce incredible things consciously. But I think for most people, and myself probably included, it's got to be mostly subconscious. And like that's a process that I don't think there's any way to really control necessarily. In fact, it's almost like it's a process that happens in spite of our attempts to control it. It's a sort of this untamed force that comes out of us, whether we want it to or not. So if you have like a prophetic kind of dream about something you've been thinking about, and then you're like, wow, this is like the breakthrough that I needed. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to think about in that as a concept. But anyway, the reason I was just going off on that tangent is because I was working on this interface problem several years ago, and I kept having this weird, like, nagging image in my head every time I worked on it, and I couldn't really like fully visualize it. It was just sort of like bits and pieces, but there was this one mechanical component, like it was more like a feeling than an actual coherent picture, but that feeling corresponded with a mechanical principle that I was like pretty well familiar with. So I just made a quick sketch of it, and it's basically a type of cam, like a pivoting apart, but in like a full 360-degree cam, which is like a very complicated mechanical topographical structure to engineer, which is the hard part in my opinion. But I feel like I got the clue, or like the hint that I needed to make the breakthrough. It's just a matter of following up on that. So I've been kind of like playing around with it a little now and then, just like little thought experiments, trying to figure out how that composition might come together. But that's something that I'm very excited about, because the interface that I made before, I modeled it in SketchUp and 3D printed it and prototyped it out and actually like tested it in the field, and I gotta say that was like a super thrilling experience from beginning to end. Even though the first couple of prototypes were failures, the process of like troubleshooting and redesigning and adapting, like I discovered, I came up with almost like a rule of thumb for myself personally for the construction of prototypes like this, that basically it took me 3 tries every time to this flaw that I didn't catch in the design and simulation phase. And then the second prototype, it didn't have any glaring flaws anymore, but it had durability challenges. So in other words, after like a relatively short duty cycle, it would fail in some way. So that was like the second obstacle. And then finally on the third prototype, I mean, I don't want to say like third time's the charm or anything trite like that, but it did kind of seem like on the third time I was able to iron out the durability and the glaring flaws, and then it was basically more or less functional within, you know, sort of the narrow bandwidth of my expectations. But what I want to do is up my game and get to the next level where I can basically reduce those failure stages to like 2 or even hopefully 0, so I can just design something, print it out, and then no flaws and good durability. So I think like maybe the third or fourth design that I finally worked on, I actually was able to cut an entire failure phase out of my design process, and it only had durability issues. So it was just like 2 prints instead of 3. So yeah, I mean, I think eventually I can get it down to just 1, and that would be pretty sweet. Certainly it would save on printing costs. This too shall pass. Oh, those are... I feel like Second Life is speaking to me today. It's a cool little workshop. Nice garage. Oh, there's a lot more to see in that house, but I don't know. I'm just getting a little bit tired of touring random people's houses. Yeah, bottom line though, like, exploring Second Life was pretty much all I could do today. Just completely sapped of motivation and energy. For days like that, you really have to like tap into to the things that you're like absolutely ecstatic about, like exploring Second Life for me. Something that I get energy from. It doesn't drain me necessarily. Wow, look at those buckets. That's a really they looked a lot better from a distance. That's interesting. It's a nice windmill. It's like a super typical. Oh, that's kind of cool. Very typical landscaping. Ah, I got banned. Well, it's been an hour and 21 minutes. I think I'm gonna call it a day. It's always banging at Ahern. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone's having a good time out there. Staying safe and unsinged. I'll catch y'all later. Neotoy out.